So I'm getting tired of people constantly saying Black Americans were slaves and people being taught history the wrong way. One of the first slave owners in America was a Black man. A lot of slave owners were Black people. And they owned white people. And they also owned Native Americans. They even had to make a law for us to not enslave white people anymore in early America. It's just a history that isn't taught because the colonizer didn't want the Black Americans to have a sense of pride, to know that we were actually ruling something. They changed the school system late 1800s, early 1900s, and erased the history of what was actually going on in the 1500s, in the 1600s, even the 1700s, and some of the 1800s in America. We owned slaves too. A lot of us were even the colonizers. They just hid that history because they just want you to think Black people have always been a slave and all this other stuff. It is not what you think. So soon I'm going to make a video on early when we were actually running things in America. We actually ran America at a point. We actually ran certain parts of America. The history is just hidden. So later, probably today or tomorrow, I'm going to make a video on how we used to own slaves that were white, Native American, Black, all types of races. We were not always slaves. We actually started off as slave owners. We were enslaving people in Europe. We were enslaving Caucasian people in Europe. This is real history. We were not always the victim. We actually started off somewhat as the oppressors. So yeah, today or later on or whatever, tomorrow, I'm going to drop a video on stuff like this.
To the Native Americans, but many of them owned slaves and did.
Yeah, no, that was a big thing, man.
Not like Black people.
So I've been educating myself. And you know what I found out? So this isn't talked about often, but we know that many Native Americans enslaved Black people in this country.
Right.
And the 5 tribes profited off slavery so much so that they fought for the Confederacy to keep slavery alive on Native land. So when the Civil War ended and the Emancipation Proclamation was signed and slaves were supposed to be immediately free as of 1863, you know what? Slavery did not end for Black people on Native American lands until 1866.
That's insane.
We talk about Juneteenth and how slaves...
3 years. 3 years after slavery was ended, right, abolished in America, did it take for the Native Americans to come up off of them slaves?
So I missed what they were saying, but I mean, let's be honest. This total bullshit, because I could bring you back to actual facts that you guys were the ones fighting for slavery to be kept. You were enslaving your own people. You were enslaving white folks. You were enslaving natives. Shut the fuck up. I'm not letting you guys go on this shit no more. White people and Black people, you need to stop the fucking game. The only way that you can come to the conclusion of some kind of peace is when you both admit that you both work together. And that one fucked the other eventually in 1865. That's what it was. And you've been complaining since that time. It's it. You lost the power. That's the problem. So when you guys can both come to the conclusion of what the fuck occurred, you're still going to sound stupid. Black and white folks, you've been enslaving people since 1492. This is historical. When you stop the game, things will start clearing up.
Cherokee.